Question on a series called Mapping Freedom. A very good comment and question. I think there are 3 videos on in that series, and basically at the time I just basically mapping freedom was clear my own mind around issues related to freedom. So at the time I remember there was a lot of talk about freedom related to COVID restrictions and all that. So the question is, in mapping freedom, obviously we divide freedom conceptually into negative freedom and positive freedom. So negative freedom is absence of external constraint. And obviously these external constraints can be factual as well as moral, can be social constraints as well. So absence of external constraint, if I want to do something and there's no one else from outside stopping me from doing that thing, so then I can be said to be negatively free. And positive freedom means my ability to do something I want. So nobody is stopping me from traveling around the world, and I want to travel around the world. So the act of not anyone is stopping me from going and traveling around the world factually or morally or socially, then I'm negatively free to do that. And if I am able to do it positively, if I'm able to go on my journey and fulfill my wish or desire or my plan or my idea or my longing, whatever it is, then I'm positively free to do that. Now in this context, the question is so this was just a preface to the question is whether lack of resources so resources are important for and that's what connects freedom or search for freedom in the modern sense to capitalism, because the biggest constraint on our freedom is lack of resources. So even if nobody is stopping me in principle to travel around the world, if I don't have money, if I'm not healthy, if I don't have transport, I can't go around the world and travel around the world. So it requires resources. So the lack of resources, the question is whether lack of resources is lack of negative freedom or lack of positive freedom. I think that's the question, or something like that. And the questioner said that if I want to go and watch a movie and nobody is stopping me from watching a movie, but I don't have money. So this lack of money, would that be a constraint on my negative freedom, or lack of negative freedom, or constraint on my positive freedom? So, I mean, simple answer I think is that if I want to watch a movie and there's no other external constraint except that I don't have money, so lack of money is an external constraint. So lack of money means that I am, if negative freedom is absence of external constraints, so I'm not negatively free. So in that sense, lack of money is a constraint on my negative freedom. But it is also constraint on my positive freedom, that I can't positively fulfill my wish to watch a movie. So I would say that lack of resources makes me negatively unfree, and by doing that it puts limits on my positive freedom. That's what I say. So lack of money is affecting both negative freedom as well as positive freedom. That's what I would say. So this is my gut reaction. The lack of resources makes me, so lack of resources is external constraint, I think. External constraint in the sense in which scarcity is an external constraint on human desires to fulfill their desires. So lack of resources is external constraint, so makes me negatively unfree. But at the same time, it puts, by the same token, it puts limit on my positive freedom, that is my freedom to watch a movie I want to watch. Now I might have more money, but I might not have a desire to watch a movie. So in that case, I'm neither negatively free, not negatively unfree, nor positively unfree, even though I'm not doing anything positively. But if I wanted, I could, fulfill my wish. But at the end of the day, it's this distinction between negative freedom and positive freedom is just a conceptual tool to understand issues. So if you want to understand this conceptually differently, you have all the freedom to do so. The main thing is understanding things and not the terminology as such. You can create your own terminology. And one of the things in which, these academic discourses try to make things complicated than they are is to give the impression that these technological or terminology is something uh, which we have to adhere. But at least in philosophy, you have this freedom where you can, create different concepts and create distinctions between concepts and all that. And the main thing is, that should allow you to understand the reality you are trying to understand, or imagine a reality you are trying to imagine, and things like that. Okay, so hopefully this answers the question, and if it doesn't, let me know and I'll try again.